and everything. Okay, so thanks a lot for joining us today, guys. Welcome to this webinar. This is an urban webinar in partnership with CTHA. Today we'll be discussing upskilling to deep tissue massage. So just a couple of introductions first. So I'm Peter. I'm Urban's Operations Strategy Manager, and it's my job to oversee applications and onboarding of new practitioners to Urban. And I'm joined by Nadej, who is our head of community and quality. So it's her job to ensure that the standard of treatments booked on Urban are the highest quality for both the practitioner and the client. So today we're going to be talking about the importance of upskilling and specifically to deep tissue massage. So just to go over the format for today, I'll briefly introduce Urban, who we are, and why we can say with confidence that deep tissue should be your next CPD course. I'll then hand over to Nadej, who will go into more detail on why deep tissue is a great addition to your treatment repertoire from the perspective of someone who's been a massage therapist for a number of years. In this webinar, we unfortunately aren't able to interact verbally with you. So if you have any questions, please type them out as a comment in the chat on YouTube, and we will try to cover as many as we can at the end of the session. So any questions we can't answer now or at the end of the session, we will send the answers as an email to everyone at the end of the webinar. We will also be sharing the slide deck after the presentation, so any links that are on the deck, you can see them after the presentation. Okay, so I'll kick off just with who we are and who is Urban. So we're a community of professional practitioners who love what they do. So our app and website is home to over 2,000 massage therapists, beauty technicians, physiotherapists, and osteopaths who are able to tap into our Urban's large and growing client base and earn on their own terms. Our system allows practitioners to choose when and where they work, whilst we handle payments, scheduling, and marketing. So just a little bit of background about Urban and how we got to where we are now. So our founder, Jack Tang, started the company in 2014 after struggling to book a massage at home. So when he did manage to organise an at-home treatment, after speaking to the therapist, he realised that there were a lot of problems in the industry that could be solved with technology. So thus, Urban was born. We launched in London in 2014 as Urban Massage, and we quickly expanded to Manchester, Birmingham, and Paris in 2015. In 2018, we rebranded as Urban and added new services with our full suite of services that we now offer, being added over 2018 and 2019. So as with so many industries and companies, obviously in the next 2 years, we're very quiet. But in 2021, we bounced back from the pandemic, hitting 3,000 plus bookings a week. This year has been great so far for us. We've hit our 1 millionth treatment, which was a big milestone, and we're currently busier than we've ever been before. So next, I'll just go into quickly why to upskill, and specifically to deep tissue. So at Urban, we have a unique vantage point on the wellness industry, as we're able to pinpoint industry trends both from client and the practitioner's perspective. So we interact obviously with both clients and practitioners on a day-to-day basis, and we can of course analyze booking data and search data to see which treatments are the most popular. So as you can see from this graph, it's pretty clear that deep tissue is very popular. In the 7 weeks prior to May, it's comprised almost 50% of the searches on the platform. And the stats on the right-hand side shows why the investment of a deep tissue CPD is so worthwhile. As therapists on Urban who do offer the treatments receive 35% more bookings on average than those who don't. So I'll now hand over to Nadej, who's going to talk a bit more about deep tissue massage, what clients who choose this treatment are looking for, and the best practices for performing the treatment. Over to you, Nadej.
Thank you very much, Peter. So hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us earlier. Right, so I'm going to try to give you some valuable insight as to why upscaling to deep tissue is very important. So first and foremost, deep tissue training can improve your practice, generally speaking. The reason is because there are so many different applicators that you are learning throughout the course, such as forearms, elbows, reinforced thumbs, knuckles, reinforced palm of hands, and so on. There are so many other different aspects that you will learn in that course that can be reused then in other modality. And so with extra training and experience, you will also learn how to manage the pressure, not only in deep tissue, but in your other treatment as well. Applying a safe and effective type of pressure for your client, but most importantly, for yourself as well. So it is about how to improve your technique as well as learning a new modality in order to add that to your repertoire and evolve your technique, generally speaking. So those techniques can be also reused in other treatment, like I just said. So learning new technique doesn't have to be for just one modality, but offers you the possibility to expand your repertoire, and so your client will only love it. The no pain, no gain theory is not true. It's completely false. And that can actually lead to micro trauma in the muscle fibers, resulting in inability to use the muscle efficiently, which triggers pain. So learning how to use the pressure is extremely important. Sorry. So if you're already somebody that is quite confident in learning, using pressure, it's absolutely amazing. But just make sure that you are using your pressure effectively and safely for your client as well as for yourself. So that's the reason why going on a deep tissue training is quite important, even though you're already quite confident with using a pressure. Pressure can get uncomfortable for your client, yes, but that is the highest limit it should get to. So your client should never say that, oh, that's very painful, or this is painful. It can be uncomfortable, but not painful. The pain is not a good response within the body, and that can trigger other physiological response from the body. So we try to avoid the pain scale. We can go to uncomfortable discomfort within the treatment, but certainly not pain at all. So you should not suffer either. So as a therapist, you will also learn how to use those new tools, whether that's your hands, your elbows, your forearms, and how to apply that pressure effectively on the tissues in order to provide a safe and effective treatment, but also in order to not hurt yourself, because we know that pressure can be really painful for your joints, and we want to avoid arthritis here. And longevity in this industry can be short if you are not using your hands properly. So it is a great treatment to offer. People lack pressure, people need that relief in the muscles. So learning how to apply those techniques confidently is quite important. Upskilling overall will help you to develop your knowledge and address a wider range of concerns to treat as well. So what are your clients looking for? What are clients looking for? So that's a question that is very much asked to myself, at least by the community. And the reason why we are so confident in sharing this type of information is because at Urban, we also have complaint process in place. And so we do get a lot of insight from the client and what they are looking for, what they are expecting, and so on. So most importantly, let's talk about the treatment itself. So clients are looking for some muscular relief, right? That's not news, that's not big news, that's not breaking news. We all know that they want some muscular relief with a hinge of relaxation. And this is where there is a fine line between being too technical as well as offering that relaxation type treatment. So some of the clients like to engage because they are curious and they want to know about your findings, and some other need to drift away. And that is important as a therapist to be be able to assess that and understand your client needs, whether this is physical, body language or physical sign, if they are not verbal. So at the start of the treatment, it's important that you clarify their style. And so what do I mean by that? Is that you will have clients that don't want to speak up, don't want to engage at all, and then you will have clients that want to speak and that want to know. So try to define their style at the beginning of the treatment. And this is as equally important as to provide a full body treatment unless vocalized otherwise by your clients. Now, you might tell me, yeah, but if I only have 60 minutes and then I have one or two treatments, one or two areas to target, how do I do that? Well, this is where communication comes in, and this is where you need to vocalize to your clients and try to get your client to be very clear as to what their expectations are. So if you only have 60 minutes time frame to work a deep tissue and to address one or two areas of concerns, and that you do feel that your client need more attention on this area, then vocalize it. Tell them that you might not be able to cover the full body, and are they okay with that? If they're okay with that, then go ahead with the treatment, simply focus on the targeted area. Otherwise, if they do want a full body treatment, that's important to tell them that it's not a problem at all. You can always cover the full body, however, the area of concern will have less attention. So make sure you always communicate the time issue, because we know that 60 minutes can be very, very short. As a therapist, we generally speaking want 90-minute treatment most of the time, just so that we have time to really cover the full body and still addressing the area of concerns. So clarify that at the beginning of the treatment. Aftercare advice is very important as well, and that's an important part of the treatment. Clients like to know what to do and how to do better. They are eager to learn. Educate them, educate your client. The more you educate your client, the better trust you establish, and therefore trigger retention. And that's quite important. So next slide is how best to address their needs, their expectation, and how to manage their expectation. Right, so I said that earlier, communication is key. So like I was explaining, and like Peter mentioned earlier, I'm looking after the quality complaints at Urban. And when dealing with complaint, we often see the same pattern coming back, which could easily be addressed and be avoided as well. And this is often a lack of communication or therapists assuming that clients will know what to expect. Well, that's not true, not in most cases. If this is a repeating client, yes, your client will get to know you, you establish that relationship, you have that trust between the client and yourself. And so essentially, you do not have to do all that big communication parts, although you still have to have the communication, but you don't need to re-clarify what you already clarified in the past, because they will expect it. But if this is your first time client, or even if this is your first few bookings with that client, communication is very important, and setting expectation, managing expectation, and communicating with your client is crucial in that aspect. So each therapist is different and therefore have a different approach to clients. And on Urban, client will book with yourself, but also with other therapists. And so they have ways to compare, basically. But you can also fidelize your client as well and get them to rebook with you. If they have had an amazing treatment experience, they will simply rebook with you. And some other clients just simply like changing therapists from one booking to another. So having the high standard and being clear as to what they can expect from you at this moment in time is crucial. So like I said, communication is key. Don't let your client wander. Guide them through constantly, regardless the amount of booking or treatment they have had in the past. Clarify the targets, the area to target, and assess whether or not you can cover the full body if you only have 60-minute treatment. So like I said earlier, it's very important to clarify that before they even jump on the massage table, because client will mainly expect you to cover the full body, regardless their condition. So if there is something that you want to clarify is whether or not they need to address one specific need, and if so, do you have time to actually cover the full body or not? So be very clear about that at the beginning of the session. Check upon pressure. Make them comfortable to raise any concerns when they jump on the massage table, so they speak up when it gets uncomfortable. Some clients get shy when they are on the massage table because they feel a bit vulnerable. So that's important that you make them feel comfortable and let them know if there is anything that hurts or is uncomfortable, the pressure not being enough or too much, please do let me know. And if your client is not so much talkative, then observe the body. Be present with your client, observe the body responses, and adjust the pressure, because some clients will simply not say anything, unfortunately. So that's important that you remain present with your client, even if they are not speaking. Let you get into that massage flow, but stay present and observe your client body responses. Use props. Using pillows or cushion are a great way to relieve the pressure of the joints when you are working with an increased pressure on the body, on the muscles. The more comfortable they are, and the more you will be able to get them to relax, and therefore the relief of tension and discomfort will be greater as well. So do look after your clients, make them feel comfortable, use those props as well, use a scale to measure the pressure as well, between 1 to 10, but try not to be too persistent with that. Don't ask thousands of times how the pressure is. Check time to time throughout the treatment, just to make sure the pressure is fine for them. And finally, educate your clients. So we've been talking about the pain is not always a good thing, or pressure is gradual and you don't need to go straight into the pressure as soon as you start the deep tissue treatment, but instead it's gradual, and so you have to warm up the tissue and you have to prep the body in order to receive that pressure. So educate your client, because they will continue to work with you if you do so, because the more you educate your clients, the more that you will share with them your finding, and that will show them that you care, but not only that, will establish that trust relationship between the therapist and the client. So that is quite crucial. Educate your client, tell them what you're doing and why you are doing that. And so having clients coming back and booking treatment regularly is very important, and that is part of education. So let them know why this is important to rebook regular treatments, and explain them the treatment plan that you have already prepared in your mind before the end of the treatment, so that you can explain them your finding, giving them aftercare advice, and tell them, next time I see you, this is what we're going to be working on. Right, so deep tissue course. So we are partnering with some schools in London, some very well known and reputed school across London. So those ones are for London mainly, but we do have other schools as well that we recommend for Paris and the rest of the UK, so Birmingham and Manchester. And by becoming a hero, you also have access to discounted courses. And so for the past year, we have been working with specifically to schools, whereas they are happy to offer almost 50% discount on their deep tissue course, which normally lasts between 2 to 3 days, depending on the curriculum of the course and depending on the school. And so we host this training session in our office, in our HQ in Waterloo, near Waterloo, and therefore you are privileged to get that 50% discount almost, and then you get your training done. If you need to talk to somebody from the team, we are here as well for you, and then you are ready to then offer the tissue on the platform. So that was it for me. I'm gonna hand over to Peter that is going to continue with the rest of the presentation.
Thanks, Nadej. Okay, so just a quick reminder, guys, if you have any questions, please pop them into the comment box on the right-hand side of the YouTube screen. There is a slight delay between us and you, so get them in as and when you think of them, so we don't miss them at the end. Okay, so I'll just finish up with a little about partnering with Urban, and then, as I say, we'll end with any questions that there are in the comment section. So what are the benefits of partnering with Urban? So we offer 7 days a week of support. We're always here to answer questions and concerns that you have. By partnering with Urban, you'll have the flexibility to work when, where you want, with no minimum time commitments. So you work around your schedule. If you have other work commitments, you have family commitments, it's really up to you when and where you work. Obviously within the boundaries of London, Manchester, Birmingham, and in France, Paris. In terms of earnings, you keep up to 75% of the treatment cost, and you always keep 100% of the tip. So our commission goes towards improving the platform for you and for our clients, and of course marketing to bring in as many new clients as possible to the platform to book you. So the application process is entirely online. So this is a change that we made after COVID, and that we continued further on and up to now, and we will continue to do so in the future. Just we found that it was far more efficient than our old process. So we've continued doing it all online, so you don't need to come into any office or any headquarters. You can do everything from your computer or phone. You simply just go to hero.urban.co to start your application. And then during the application, we'll check your qualifications, ensure that you're legally allowed to work with us in the UK. We'll test your knowledge with a couple of tests, and then we'll put you through a short training, which is all video based. And finally, we'll create your profile on Urban. So you can go from application to working with us in just a few days. Okay, so that's it from us. That's the end of the presentation. So we'll wait to see if there's any questions coming in from you guys. And if any do come in, we'll answer them. So we'll just give it a couple of minutes. No questions yet. So I've just added a note just in case you guys couldn't see. I actually had to just create a profile in order to leave that comment. So it might be that you're doing that. So we'll just wait another couple of minutes to see if there's any questions. So yeah, bear with us. All right then, guys. Well, no questions in the comment section, so absolutely no problem. So if you do think of any questions, let us know. You can email us at info@urban.co, or you can leave a comment on the YouTube video as well, and we'll come back and check those as well. But if not, thanks very much for joining us. And yeah, we'll send a follow-up email a little bit later today to thank you again and give you some more information, and obviously share the slide deck with you as well. Okay, thank you very much.